Believe me, you can find them. I've done it. And the fact is that this woman got a call, and she said $2,500, I think it was, bail money. But this has happened before. Okay, I'm just giving you the latest because I just heard it. So technology has permitted people to lie easily. It also gives people to find out the truth easily too, because you can verify things now through the computer age, all right? So it's changed the rules, so to speak. And sometimes we don't know what's real, not real, true, not, and a lot of times people misunderstand. You know, today, another thing about lying and not lying is it's really not lying, because you call up and you speak to somebody and they don't speak English too well. Have you called anybody for some information? And well, they call you, and it's the demographics have changed in this country to the point where there's a lot of people that you're interacting with, whether it be a bank teller or somebody on the phone that lives in Japan, Hawaii, Philippine Islands, somewhere else in the world, and you don't, or even in this country, and they got an accent that you're not familiar with, and they misunderstand you, you misunderstand them. So they're not really lies, they're not truths. They think they're truths, you think you're communicating, and you're not, okay? So there is the point today, is that there's a big gray area between lies and truths, or misunderstandings. When I say lies, it could be not lies, but untruths, things that are not true, not purposefully done. But all of this exists, all right? Now, throughout history, so just so you have, get a grounding here, that we're not bad and we're not evil and we're not changing in many great ways. What about the myths of yore, right? The Romans had gods, the Greeks had gods, the Scandinavians had gods. We still use some of those people, right? Today, Wednesday? Well, what is what? Woden's Day. That was a god up in Scandinavia. Thursday is Thor, right? So we still use the gods of some of these people as our days, right? So there's an impact, okay? So there's the myths. All countries and all peoples have had myths. Are they real? I mean, did Japan, did the sun really, make Japan? Or did the Indians who prayed to certain inanimate objects, are they right, are they wrong? They're part of the human fabric. Miracles we talked about, both in the Jewish faith and the Catholic faith, but in all faiths. There are certain things which are accepted, which ordinary people couldn't do, couldn't conceive of, okay? Are they really true? Fantasy, we talk about children, and we breed fantasy, right? Look at the big hit movies of fantasy. People jump 600 feet. I mean, what's Superman? Is Superman fantasy? Batman? All these superheroes are fantasies, really, right? There's nothing true about it, right? Propaganda. Now, just the ordinary listening to television, you're listening to propaganda. You're listening to a company saying how great they are and how great this product is or that product is, right? Is it all true? Most people who have homes or apartments and clean them for themselves, they'll buy a cleaning fluid for this. And they'll find out after a while it really doesn't do the job, so then they listen to an ad and say, oh, this one says it will do it. And you end up with 4 or 5 different cleaning fluids to do the same job. I mean, I know that's the way publicity and advertising works, to get you excited emotionally to do something and to buy something. So all of these things exist. Rumors, scuttlebutt, all these kinds of terms that we use are passing on information that's misinformation. Okay, I've talked enough here. Now, what do you think? Again, are there any particular stories that you might have that would be... Yes, she found what she wanted. They had it. Oh yeah, she bought the merchandise because it was there. Well, listen, she had to see the salesperson to buy the product. I mean, what issue are you going to make? This is common practice, yes.
I got a call last week talking about, all the stuff, what's going on, and they told me, can I please send $100? I said, what for? She said, oh, we need all we can get. I said, I'm sorry, you're not getting from me, and I don't know.
Okay, well, we're all involved in these kinds of.
She said, what's $100?
Well, here, I got a letter just the other day, and it comes from Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington. I figured it's a government, looks like government printing on it, and in tiny print on the bottom, it says not associated with any government. So people will act on this thinking they have a government letter, okay? The other things that you get all the time is these calls, as you mentioned, okay? And I got something here, I'm sure there are a few Jewish people here. The top 10 anti-Israel lies. Talking about lies, okay? So I just got this in the mail. Lies that are being told to foment an anti-Israeli feeling. I don't want to go into the details of these things, but the fact is, the word lies is mentioned. You turn on the television, and today you'll turn it on, and this Vandersloot guy is, and the lies that he's telling are all over the television. But in all these court cases, we're a litigious society. Now, everybody can't be right. So somebody is telling the truth. Look at the British Petroleum bill, right? We're going to hear 14 different versions of. I heard one version from a guy that was there, a worker that jumped into the sea to save his life, and he was talking about the safety valves. But then the BP guy says it was Halliburton, and Halliburton says it's somebody else, and all of a sudden it's like this guy Vandersloot. You hear so many stories, which is the truth? Okay?
So what do you do?
Well, that's why you have investigations. That's why you have all sorts of scientists and police-type people investigating, and of course Congress will interview people, and the FBI, and who knows who else. The point is, somebody is not telling the truth, okay? The fact is, we're surrounded by this, and each of us has to not react to any one thing. We have to think of who's telling the story, what's their point of view, what do they have to gain, and so forth. Now, anybody else have a story of significance in this particular subject? There's all sorts of things that are in human society which exist. There was something I read just the other day, as a matter of fact, that in India there's a caste that is automatically, when they're born, a criminal. Now, can that be true? Can you be born a criminal? You're a baby. But there is a caste, millions of Indians, here it is in The Economist, April 24th, age 42, a whole caste who are automatically classified. It's like, and so I got to thinking about that. I said, well, wait a minute. Don't people in Europe, Eastern Europe for sure, and even here say, oh, the gypsies are that way, right? Don't the gypsies have that problem? Okay? Well, these people are automatically, they jailed them just because they wanted to be jailed. They said, well, they're gonna commit a crime, so we're gonna jail them. All right? So is that the truth? Well, I don't think so, right? I mean, the point is that we as human beings are born with free will. And free will says you have the option to do this, that, or the other thing. Some people have a moral base for their living, and some people have something that's in between this and that. For instance, if you got $10 extra, or you paid somebody $20 in a store, and you were supposed to get $5 and change, and you got $10 by mistake, would you give the other $5 back? Okay. Yeah, you would, but the majority of people would not. If it were maybe a small store on a personal basis, you would, but if it was Taylor or Macy's, would you give the $5 back? I don't think so. Most people would say, it's a big company, right? So in truth, okay, so I don't think you're in the majority, okay? Because we all have this selfish view, and our way is the right way. And people that would keep the money would say, well, it's a big company. They cheated me 3 years ago on something. They didn't take something back they should have. Therefore, I'm within my rights to keep the money. You'll come up with a reason why justifying what you do, okay? So the point is that we all have a protective air about us, a wall about us in a way, and sometimes lying will permit people to get away with things because they want to protect themselves, all right? Or they want to enhance their position, whatever it may be. Take credit for something that they didn't do and somebody else did. Well, they did it to me, so now I'm going to do it to them. I'm going to get even. There's a lot of different reasons for people lying, and the point is, it's human nature. So I'm not forgiving it. I'm not saying it's something we shouldn't do. We should try to control it. We should try to understand it, right? And therefore, is my theme tonight, as I said, was to explore the idea of this particular idea because of some things that just happened this past few days, and also in my quest to try to understand and try to have other people think and exercise their mental capacities to think for themselves. That's the basic, if I may emphasize that, the basic thing today is not listening to all the pundits, all the experts, all the people who say they know, because a lot of times they are making money off of what they're telling you. They are not really experts. They're not really, let's say, in the concrete foundation of knowledge when they come out with what they do, all right? It's a whole different thing. You have to balance what you hear and take what is best. You have to cross-check. It's not possible to do it all the time, but that's really what our function should be, as thinking human beings. Well, I want to thank you for coming. Is there any other, are there any other comments or? No? Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for coming tonight, and have a good summer. Thank you very much.